We'd like to remind our American tourist friends that you are almost certainly talking too loud. Residents of London are reminded that there are other places in Britain outside your stinking shithole of a city, and that if you remove your heads from your arses for just a couple of minutes, you may realise that the M25 is not the edge of the earth.
Broadcasting from the stages of London, this is Musical Talk, the UK's first independent musical theatre podcast.
Hello, welcome to Musical Talk. I'm Nick Hutson. I'm in Gavin Creel's dressing room.
Hooray.
And you're Bert in Mary Poppins, aren't you?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Hang on a second, you're American.
Yeah.
You're doing a Dick Van Dyke on us, aren't you?
I'm not doing full-on Dick Van Dyke, because I think he's referred to as the Mockney accent over here. That's like stuff that I was told, so I'm hopefully doing...
You're doing very well in this. I mean, I've seen you in this a couple of times, and it really is a very good accent.
Thank you very much.
We should do half the show in an English accent and half the show... have you always been able to do this accent, or did you...
No, I got a little study CD before I knew I was going to be auditioning for it, and did a little, boning up, and then came in for the audition, and they had a couple dialect coaches, and I worked with an amazing dialect coach named Jen Hayden Rolls here in town, and she sort of got me polished and ready to go. It's a lot of fun. It's like eating big juicy orange, because you have to get your mouth around all the sounds and everything. It's like, I love it.
That was scary. How are you enjoying the show?
Oh, I love it. It's just, I said to somebody the other day, I went to Paris with my parents for Thanksgiving last week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. Go America. I shouldn't say that right now. Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully we'll get a new president and everything will turn out okay. Anyway, but I went to Paris last week, and when I came back to work, I was just saying to Hannah Woolley, one of our company members, I just said, I'm so happy to be, after almost doing the show for a year and a half, to come back and be like excited to come back to work. Usually, in a show you do a long run. I've done just a couple long runs now, and it's easy to get really bored, doing the same thing over and over again. And there's just something about this part and this play and the message of it. And
how could you not get bored of walking up the proscenium arch?
I know.
When I saw that, back in May of the first year when the show came out, it was the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen. We've had George Stiles and Anthony Drew on the show. Yep. They said they originally wanted that for Billy Elliot, but Mary Poppins got it.
Really?
Which is very interesting. It was a prototype effect, and that sort of the war was between Billy Elliot and Mary Poppins.
Was it really? I didn't realise that.
I think it suited much more...
Well, I think they have an aerial stunt in one of the numbers in Billy Elliot that actually broke the night I saw it. But
they have flying.
Yeah, they do some big spinning thing, but I didn't see it, so I've just only heard about it. But yeah, it just works. There's something amazing about, Mary is the magical one, and I'm sort of like the Earth equivalent of trying to...
You're the chorus in a way, aren't you?
Yeah, I narrate the piece, and I'm sort of the voice of the audience in a sense of just like ushering them through, and I love that. I've been gigging doing a lot of pop gigs and stuff, and writing my own music and performing in front of people, and I sort of, people, acting class and all this stuff gets you ready for your next job or the job you did before. In a weird way, the gigs that I did in 50, 100 seat, 150 seat clubs where I was singing to the audience and talking and telling my stories, it's in a weird way, it sort of prepared me for this role, because it's all about... Mary Poppins is obviously my most important character, and then the next most important for me is the audience, because I have to be able to talk to them, look them in the eye, and usher them through. Do
you think your character's in love with Mary?
Oh yeah, of course.
I
made up this whole thing. I always think it's so wanky when actors talk about, my character, I don't know who I am, and I watch these videos and I just want to cringe. But I have to say, if I make everyone cringe for 1 second, I sort of made up this scenario that it's sort of Michael Banks and I are sort of parallel in a way, that when we sort of touched on in rehearsals, and Richard Eyre and Adrian Sarple, my associate director, and James Powell talked to me about how maybe I was once a little Michael when she visited me or whatever, but I sort of think she's sort of like the supreme everything, she's like the Da Vinci Code, the ultimate feminine power that I sort of invented a great parent. Because
you have a very touching scene where Mr. Banks says to you, "Thank you, Bert."
Yeah, out of nowhere he pulls my name out, because I've never met it. I mean, we've never introduced each other, and Yeah, it's that scene and the last scene of the play. It's only about 4 lines, but when she says, "I give her the flowers," and I say, "It's tonight, isn't it?" And she's like, "Yes," and I'm like, "Well, goodbye."
You share a little kiss.
Yeah, a tiny little peck, if you will. But those are my favorite. Those 2 moments are my favorite moments for sure.
I presume you grew up watching the film, as we all did.
I did. I think the last time I saw it, though, was when I was about 7 years old. I just haven't seen it in a long, long time.
I presume you never thought you'd be reprising this role
in
what I think a much better version, or not better, but a much more a version that's much more true to the original.
Yeah,
story.
There seems to be something. See, I don't know the books as well. I mean, I read the first one, and there's like 9 others or whatever it is. I'm terrible. Again, me talking about acting and studying stuff. I'm a bad example to all the children listening to this, young acting students. But I read the first one, and I realized she wrote them in chapters that were basically, I think, just to get children to go to sleep. You read a chapter, and they're not linked in the way that
they're not that boring. Come on,
what's that?
They're not that boring.
Well, I mean, they're not. No, and they're not. Well, they're not boring, but they're not.
They're peaceful and they're.
Yeah, you can't read the whole book and go, "What's going to happen in the next chapter?" They're mainly, I think, meant to be read in. Yeah, they're like 17 short stories. What's cool about the stage version is that it links them all together, and brings characters from each different books and different chapters and things, and puts them in. I think the audience gets. And you know what? I haven't seen Dirty Dancing, and I don't know anything about it, but I've heard it's pretty much the movie on stage. And maybe it's fantastic. I don't know. That sounds like the most boring night of theater in the planet. If I don't want to see something I've seen verbatim,
no,
that's not interesting to me. And I think, like it or not, Mary Poppins gives you something different, It hits on all the best parts of the movie, yet sauces it up.
Tells a whole new story.
Yeah. You get Miss Andrew, and she's not in the movie. And gosh, Louise Gold is about as brilliant as they come. I love her.
We I for the course I just finished, I wrote a musical where I took, much like for Mary Poppins, all these famous short stories and blended them into my own story, it was hard work considering there were 500 stories.
500 stories, pre-existing stories.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you write the music and everything?
I did the book music and lyrics.
Oh, you're very ambitious.
Well,
I've been trying to write a musical for the past year with my co-writer, and I just realized, it's impossible to do on Skype when you're an ocean away from one another, so we're just going to wait till we get back. But it's hard work, really hard work.
Oh, dear.
You all right? You're not going to die here, are you?
I may do.
Oh, fantastic.
It is very hard work because people think songwriting is, a pretty tune and some nice words that rhyme, but not only do you have to come up with a pretty tune and nice words that rhyme, if you're doing book music and lyrics, you have to tell the story, you have to represent that character, you have to move it somewhere, you have to get all the rules right if you are interested in that, and if you're not, you have to make up your own rules, which then comply to the rest of the... I mean, it's completely... It's
also... What frustrates me, and obviously you appreciate it, and I do too, because it's what I do, but it's so easy to poo-poo musical theater. You're not opera, so you're not really singing, and you're not straight acting. You're not up there doing a Scottish play or something, so you're not really acting. And it's all these. It's so easy to attack from all angles, but it's really hard to do and to get right, and that's why so much musical theater just sucks. Because people get up there and they don't know what they're doing. And I'm not saying that. Well, no, I am saying I had an amazing education at University of Michigan in the musical theater department there, and we basically broke it apart and said, okay, why is it bad? Mm-hmm. Why is a lot of the musicals that you go and see, why do people hate musicals? Well, probably because 90% of it, unfortunately, is just producer-based, just let's just throw up a piece and everybody loves to see, and take their money. But when that 5% or 10% is really good, in my opinion, it doesn't get any better, because... Music is emotion, and the lyrics are information. So when you combine the two, it's transcendent, in my opinion. I love it.
And that's one of the great things about this show is it could have just been a replica of the movie, but that's something Disney never do. They haven't done it with Little Mermaid. They haven't done it with Beauty and the Beast. They haven't done it with The Lion King.
Yeah.
And they certainly haven't done it with Mary Poppins.
No, not at all.
And what Cameron did is he took the film, probably took what he didn't like out of it, and put in a lot of his own work, which is brilliant, and it's I think one of the best produced shows ever. Because of the producers, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's not like an American show where you have 17,000 producers.
Yeah.
All coming together with different ideas and different, expectations of how their money should be spent. all coming together, creating this sort of mess, really.
The problem is with a lot of producers or with that scheme is that if you don't have someone at the helm of the creative side driving the car, like a director that's going to just say, this is the way we are going to do it, this is what works, you may have all the money, you may be able to press me down, but I understand how the creative aspect of it works and how the thing is supposed to be, as you know, formed. Music, lyrics, books, everything comes together. If that person isn't present and you have those 17 producers, you're sunk. And in a way, you know, Spring Awakening on Broadway, I did 2 workshops of that with Michael Mayer and Stephen Sater and Duncan Sheik, and there, I think they have literally like 40 producers on that show, but Michael has always had a very distinct vision. Duncan and Stephen have always maintained very specifically what they wanted to do, and the producers, even though there's 8,000 of them, they sort of come in. What's that?
It's gone up, has it?
Yeah. Now we're at 4,086. They're oh no, I said 40,000. Anyway, they're there basically to just facilitate these sort of creative powers to just do what they know how to do. Mm-hmm. And when you get too many people in there who are just think they're directors and they actually are people with checkbooks, it's just crash.
That, about Mary Poppins, it's, I think, as well as Billy Elliot, it's the best British musical in a long time, because apart from Bill Bron, the talent is British in this show. And you, of course. But I mean, Cameron McIntosh, Julian Fellows, George Ants, Bob Crowley, Richard Eyre, Matthew Bourne, you know, all these the best British talents in the world have come, well, in Britain even, have come together to put this musical on, which is why it's...
I think that's also what created a lot of the buzz in New York also, because it's really, in New York, it's funny, Disney gets a bit of a bad rap, and it sucks, because they're employing a lot of people, and B, they're doing the best work that they're taking products of their own that maybe they've had success before, Lion King, Little Mermaid, Mary Poppins even, but they're really trying to put on good family entertainment, because for all intents and purposes, if children don't come to the theater, then
who are you going to introduce it to?
Yeah, and in 15 years, where's the theater going to be? Yeah, maybe you can't put the Scottish play up for kids. I mean, you probably can, but they're not going to understand it and the power of it in that way, and probably a lot of them will be turned off by it because they'll be, I don't know, scared or bored or whatever, you know. But there's, you know, I did...
They have to relate to the material, which is what Disney do.
Yeah.
And a lot of shows do.
Yeah.
The successful shows.
There's a need for family entertainment in the theater, and if it's not present, then musicals will teeter out eventually, and there will be like you said, there'll be no audience.
Talk to us briefly about Spring Awakening. It is coming here.
Is it? Yeah. Well, is it next season or?
I don't know, but
I don't know how it'll do here because it's a very American property.
It's a bit like Rent, isn't it? Which
I think didn't do very well.
It's never done well here.
Oh, it's up again, and I don't. Is it doing okay?
I couldn't possibly comment, but I haven't seen it. But it's. We just don't seem to take to the American Rocky musicals, and we don't know the play it's based. Well, I don't know the play it's based on. I don't speak for everyone.
Well, I only knew the play it's based on because I read it before I auditioned for the workshop. 7 years ago. Oh yeah. But like, I think the thing is, the play was banned for like 30 years because it was way ahead of its time. It's all about, you know, abortion and rape, and it was written in like 1895 or 1896 or maybe before then. 1880 something. I forget. I know it's in the late 1800s.
Sounds almost like a Strindberg play or something.
Well, yeah, it does. It has those elements of something that's just not. It just sounds
appropriate for the time.
Well, yeah, you just can't imagine. I mean, I still am amazed that this sounds really arty-farty, but I'm still amazed that like something like The Most Happy Fella was written in 1956, and it's about, you know, a woman who has a one-night stand and gets pregnant by somebody else's man, and all these things. I guess, please, we've all been adulterers since the beginning of time, but like. Not all of us, but you know what I mean.
Most of us.
Yeah, welcome to musical radio. Anyway. Musical talk. Here on Musical Talk, we talk about adultery and masturbation. Speaking of which, what's in...
Please call in if you have any comments.
Yeah. That's what's... It's got, you know... There's a guy who, like... I can't say that on this, you know... Who, you know, pleases himself on stage in the middle of Spring Awakening. Yeah, masturbates. Yeah, cheers. And there's that, and there's like this rape scene and all this stuff.
It's hardly Mary Poppins, is it? I think is what you're trying to say.
It's definitely not Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I think Mary Poppins has some dark undertones in there.
Yeah, not that dark. No, thank God.
All those chimneys and things, but carry on.
What are you talking about, scaring children away from the theatre?
Sorry to break away, but that scene, Temper.
Oh, yeah. That's about as... Yeah, that's pretty... It freaks me out. I mean, I see those crazy dolls and everything. But you know what? I love it.
Kids love it.
I think it's just neat because you do get a sense that... It sort of reminds me of... And maybe they... Well, they didn't...
Bride of Chucky.
Well, no, do you know that... Remember in Toy Story, when he goes to the neighbor's house and all those crazy toys come up from out from under, but they're all kind? These actually are just mad. Our toys are mad, but... It reminds me of that when that crazy spider thing with the head that spins and her hair's been all cut off. It's similar to that in the sense that these are the forgotten toys in a sense, the ones that have been ripped up. But it is that dark thing. There are no dark, scary toys in Spring Awakening, but in the sense it does have all those things. I don't know how it'll do over here. I have no idea. I know that the score is fantastic and the piece is great and it's really, really well directed and staging is beautiful. So hopefully people at least give it a chance and it'll maybe even catch a cult following. If they do it right, I think it's a pretty inexpensive show to run because you don't cast stars. It's all young unknowns. And
is it T-shirts and jeans and things like that?
It's one outfit. Everybody wears one outfit, but it's like 18... They are dressed in 1895 garb, but they pull cordless microphones out of their little waistcoat and they sing a rock song and they put it back.
Commenting on the action.
Exactly.
So it sort of breaks away from
it's like Company in that sense, in a sense that it's just comment songs and everything. But it's fantastic.
Before we sat down, you were telling us you've also sat down with Sondheim.
I did, yeah.
When he was over here.
Yeah, so I'm so sad about this, but he got in touch with me. I did Bounce in 2003, which was his latest.
Which he said he's reworking.
They're going to do it. I think John Doyle is going to direct it at the Public soon, either this year or next. And one of my life dreams was fulfilled in getting to meet and work with him, and it was an incredible experience. It was really tough because it was a new musical, and watching that team, Hal Prince and Stephen Sondheim and everything work a new musical. I mean, they were working just as hard as anybody else, and if not, probably harder. So we've stayed in touch over the years, and he emailed me about a week and a half ago and was like, I don't know if you're going to be in town, but I'd love you to come see a screening of Sweeney Todd. And I was like, I'm just going to be in France with my parents for Thanksgiving.
Dang.
But I luckily got to meet him before I left, and he's just amazing. He's got more energy than I do, and he's
not 77.
Well, he's not, right? I mean, he's like this...
27, I think, is more.
Yeah, he's got this amazing life energy. He and Hal Prince both have this thing that I don't know... They found the Fountain of Youth somewhere in Manhattan, but I hope he keeps writing and keeps writing new scores and new shows because he's totally an inspiration.
We recently had one of the biggest episodes ever of Musical Talk when we had the casting crew of Sweeney Todd. How do you think this is going to do?
I hope well. I mean, I think it's going to be very different from what we were speaking. Very different from the stage production. The clips that I've seen, it's not like on the edge of what's that? I always mispronounce it. Grand Guignol or whatever it's called. It's the
that theatre style.
If Sondheim ever hears this, he'll call me and yell at me. But it's that there's like that whole theatre style and the Brechtian chorus and it doesn't seem like it seems like they're actually playing it pretty straight, like it's an actual story about a man who is coming back.
It's a horror film, which is how they're doing it. It's a horror film with singing.
So I'm a little nervous about that. The fact that there's horror film. People who like horror films don't want to see people sing, and people who like singing may not like horror.
I've always thought it's one of the scariest musicals ever written.
Oh yeah,
I'm quite looking forward to seeing how they do the horror aspect of it.
I'm excited. I hope they don't. I don't think they're going to scrimp on the blood and the actual gore of it. But the clips that I've seen, it's just beautifully shot, and I think I'm going. I don't know.
I like the fact that all the colours are black, red, and white.
Yeah,
because red and white is the colour of the barber shop, if you think about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, you've done some homework.
I know.
Very nice.
I mean, I'm not sure to make its money back.
How do you know how much it cost to do? I don't know.
Not much. I mean, not much compared to a huge summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
But it has because it's R-rated in America, a lot of the Depp fangirls won't be able to see it with all their friends. They have to go with a grown-up. Yeah. So that's losing a lot of the market anyway.
But you can't make that movie PG-13. I mean...
No.
There's obviously no cursing. There's no sexual nature. It's just probably got an R just because of all this throat slitting. And that's a shame because I'm sure there are gorier films out there that are rated PG-13 in America.
Well, the content's quite... I mean...
Revenge.
There's adultery in there as well, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Judge Turpin and...
But Alan Rickman was wonderful when I talked to him.
Oh, he's
hilarious.
I can't... everything he does. I mean, when I was a kid, I saw, you know, Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood, and I just remember thinking, who is that
Sheriff
man?
of Nottingham.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically my introduction to him as a kid. And I just remember thinking, that man is just like a
For
genius
many people,
actor.
be Professor Snape.
Yeah, of course. There's a whole new... And I wonder if I dream of getting to this place in my career, but... I mean, how old is Alan Rickman? Is he 50?
I didn't ask.
Yeah, I would imagine he's close to 50.
Yeah.
I hope he's not, 36, and I just insulted him greatly. I can't imagine he's got to be close to 50 because that career is just unbelievable. But he will forever... It's sort of like Obi-Wan Kenobi for Sir Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
And I think he actually didn't like that, knowing that the world will remember him as that. But like the world will remember Alan Rickman as Professor Snape, and he's just incredible.
It'll be hard for Daniel Radcliffe to get out of any other roles.
Well, he's certainly trying, doing gay roles and naked roles, and he's just trying to be as risque and as exciting as possible. Good for him.
Alan Rickman did mention their Harry Potter porn sites, and maybe Daniel Radcliffe... No, I won't say that, but...
Oh my.
I mean, are you doing the tour of Mary Poppins?
No, I won't. No, I'm going to be heading home in...
Oh, yes, you are.
6 weeks, yeah. I came in... My first day in the UK was June 14th in 2006, and I'll be leaving January 13th, 2008. No, for New York. I live in New York now. Yeah, I grew up in Ohio. Went to school in Michigan, and then just head to New York. Been there since.
You lived the dream, as they say.
I did. I did a show, Thoroughly Modern Millie, in New York, and at the opening scene, she's standing with her back to the audience, and she's got a suitcase in her hands, 2 suitcases. She turns over her shoulder, and it's like, I studied all the pictures and magazines and books, and I literally...
That's me. Me.
I had 2 Land's End suitcases that my mom and dad got me for graduation, and I packed them up, and I had $3,000, and that was it. And at the time, $3,000.
Well, I had when I went to New York.
Well, I thought that was a fortune, and then, a month and a half later, I'm like, where's my money?
You've seen 3 shows and you had no money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can we ask quickly about Sutton Foster?
Yeah, sure, of course.
A wonderful, wonderful talent now.
Yeah, she's a dream.
Belting it out in Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, she's. I mean, I was there at I guess she'd obviously done a lot of shows before I met her, but her big break was obviously Millie. And to see where she's gone since then, she's gone from being like a friend of mine and a co-worker to she's still a friend, but she's an inspiration. Like I admire her, what she's done with her career. She's really stuck to her guns in the theater and honored what she loves and gone from show to show, and she's doing so well. And
she's loyal to her fans as well, which I've heard
absolutely,
well.
absolutely, and that's so important. And she's so humble, almost like, for me, almost at times too humble, because I'm like, Sutton, you're amazing, all right?
No.
There's something, and she's like, oh no, not me, not with a British accent, but she's just like got this thing about downplaying everything, and it's just that's who she is. She always says she's the Gap and Old Navy girl. She just likes to be in her Gap clothes and
a bowling cap. And
yeah, she's just great. She's just and uber talented, and I always say she's tangibly beautiful. Like, she's not like offensive in the sense that, like, I don't know, she's not plastic. And that thing where you see somebody walk down the street.
Naturally beautiful, I think.
Yeah, she's overwhelmingly tangibly beautiful, because you actually feel like you can identify with her. I think it's sort of like the same way. I mean, she and Julia Roberts both have that thing where they can look like multi-bajillion-dollar movie stars, but they're both goofy enough that...
That's a good number.
Yeah, what's that?
Multi.
Uh-oh, that's my friend. Uh-oh, he's going to come bursting through this door any minute. Oh, no, he's nice. I'll do
$1 billion, that's...
$1 billion, yeah, that's $1 billion, yeah. But she's got a... she's just got an amazing quality.
We'd love to have her on the show, so if you can put in a good word for us.
I will. Are you going to be over in New York anytime soon? Oh...
But you are. Is there anything? Are there any shows you're looking forward to seeing when you get home?
Yeah, I want to see
Mary Poppins.
Well, I saw the first act when I went back.
You probably never want to see the bloody thing again, do you?
Well, I've only seen it twice, 2.5 times. Right, so seeing it is much different than obviously being in it. But
it's meant to be fantastic on Broadway.
It's pretty great. I mean, the funny thing is everybody here has such a possessive, like, people are really possessive about it here, and I mean, the truth is they just, like, not creative team, obviously producers or anything like that, but people I'm in the show with are all like, oh, I hear they do this on Broadway, or oh, I hear they've got this, and I'm like, you know, it gets me a little incensed because I'm an American in the British cast, but I am also very proud of what we do here. But they're the same show. It's we're on the same side of you know, we're in it together. So while they may have bigger set and a couple numbers or whatever, it's simply because we don't have substage space to have a huge umbrella come up through the floor.
I've heard the house will rotate on the tour of the London.
That's what I've heard.
Show.
I think they keep redesigning it. I've heard that the house will have the back of it will have the park, and it's just going to be more user friendly, and that it's going to be smaller and easier to transport, and also less expensive to run, so that they can run. You're
going to see Sutton and Young Frankenstein?
Yeah, I'll definitely see that.
Pay your $450 for a ticket?
No, I'll be calling for a comp or a discount.
Very nice.
Or I'll just wait until, you know, right before she leaves.
Little Mermaid, are you interested in seeing?
Yeah, I do want to see that. Yeah.
Now the show's back up again. It's wonderful, and
I know the strike's over.
So happy the strike's over.
Yeah, I was. There's no way it's going to last as long as the strike in Hollywood that's going on, the writer's strike right now. But I was really concerned that it went on for almost 2.5 weeks, I think. So it's good. It's good that
19
it's done.
19 days.
Yeah.
It's nearly 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, my gosh.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And they say SAG may strike in July.
SAG may strike also. Oh jeez. So
we've got lots of fun things coming up.
And Paris was on strike when we were there last week, so it just seems like the world is not happy with their present condition.
No. We're not going to go on strike. We're going to keep doing great episodes.
You got to keep doing this. Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you, who are you looking? You want to interview Sutton Foster?
We would like to.
All right.
Yes.
Well, then I'll put an email.
We've
to
also
her
got Adam Menken coming on soon, which is
really?
One of my idols.
He's fantastic.
Bill Braun has agreed to come on.
Fantastic.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's a writer within The Heights.
Yeah. I haven't seen. I do want to see that also.
And we have Anthony Rapp coming on.
Oh, he's great. He's such a nice man.
All these great people. And thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
If you have any questions, it's feedback@musicaltalk.co.uk. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We'll now end with one of Gavin's songs. This is called Might Still Happen.
It's hard to see anything but the clouds of the greyest sky. Got nothing to do or dream, sitting stuck here, and I know why. Get up above the rooftops, boy, gotta find yourself a brand new song. There's always a kind of joy right after those gray skies are gone. Love, stop polluting now.
This has been a production of Musical Talk. Copyright 2007.
Passengers are reminded that, like all voiceover artists, I probably look nothing like you imagine and may turn out to be somewhat of a disappointment.